What's up? And welcome to the channel where we're all about making success a decision. And one way we can be successful is by making sound decisions despite your emotions. Like everyone else, emotional people display a variety of traits and behaviors. However, there are certain behaviors and qualities people who have learned to control their emotions avoid in order to become successful. So today we're going to look at those traits. And without further ado, let's get started. Emotions are like money. They can either have complete control over all your affairs, or they can be partners that help you gain freedom. Now, how they behave towards you depends on how well you know and manage them. And that's where emotional intelligence comes in. Emotional intelligence is your ability to manage emotions and understand others. The four vital aspects of emotional intelligence are self-awareness, self-management, social awareness, and relationship management. All these can assist us in handling situations with a clear head, less stress, less emotional reactivity, and fewer unintended repercussions. So emotional intelligence and logical thinking go hand in hand. But this amicable relationship between emotional intelligence and logical thinking is something emotional people lack. And that's not all. There are quite a number of things that emotional people don't do. And let's talk about those. Emotional people do not control their emotions. We all know that one person who reacts without thinking. Such impulsivity can and has led to unresolvable conflicts, which is why logical people avoid it. Logical people understand that emotions are fickle and with the right tools can be managed, so they give themselves time to assess and navigate their feelings before responding to situations. Emotional people do not acknowledge their emotions. We know this sounds counterintuitive because a classic trait of emotionalism is overly expressing your feelings. However, emotional people merely overexpress their feelings without being aware of their root cause, which is what makes them so reactionary. This lack of awareness prevents them from understanding the psychological needs these emotions demand. Logical people, on the other hand, understand the importance of acknowledging their emotions. And that is super important because this awareness helps you to know what you need, how to communicate your feelings to others, how to avoid and resolve conflicts, and how to navigate uncomfortable feelings. Learning to acknowledge your emotions also teaches you healthy ways to express them because there are no good or bad emotions, just good or bad ways to express it. Emotional people do not solve problems systematically. Emotional thinkers react hastily to issues without analyzing the underlying causes. This usually gives a quick solution that doesn't address the core problem. Now, on the other hand, a logical thinker understands that this quick approach only leads to further problems, so they instead opt to use a more methodical approach. They break down the problems into manageable steps and arrive at solutions through careful consideration, focusing on the root causes and systematically working through the challenges. Emotional people don't think critically. To meticulously analyze information before forming an opinion is often a difficult task. This makes emotional people even more prone to reacting impulsively to emotions, leading to hasty decisions. Logical thinkers approach things quite differently. They question their assumptions and rely on well thought out judgments. This slow consideration leads to careful analysis and better informed decisions. Emotional people don't communicate effectively. It's very difficult for emotional people to clearly express their thoughts on very complex ideas coherently, as they often express themselves reactively without stopping to consider the implications of their words. This emotional burst can sometimes lead them into tight spots during critical situations, which just leads to more reactions. It's like a vicious cycle and leaves all parties involved extremely exhausted in the end. This is why logical thinkers are usually careful in their considerations and their communications. They make sure to use concise wording when communicating and are very clear on the tone and intent of what they are saying. This way, misunderstandings are avoided or at least kept to a minimum. Emotional people don't introspect, as it's very uncomfortable for them to look at their perspective and find errors. It's much easier to resist changing viewpoints and just cling to emotions that reinforce their existing beliefs. But this usually hinders growth, and for that reason, logical people continuously embrace learning, evolving their perspective based on new information. Emotional people don't appreciate constructive feedback. They think that criticism often strikes uncomfortable chords with them. Instead, they get defensive, disregard the validity of the feedback, which in turn prevents them from seeing the opportunity to improve their work. You should have noticed by now that we're all emotional people. We all find it difficult to analyze our mistakes, to resist sways of our emotions, and to look deep into ourselves and find our shortcomings. But that doesn't mean all hope is lost, as no one is born a logical person. Even in the most logical person, the brain is having a constant tug-of-war between emotional reactivity and critical thinking. Emotional reactions can color our perceptions and influence the information we pay attention to, which can either aid or hinder critical thinking. Sometimes, emotional reactivity can serve as a vital signal, alerting us to potential dangers. However, it becomes a hassle when it overpowers our ability to reason and evaluate evidence objectively. Now, how then can we overcome this hassle? How can we find the balance between being an emotional person and a logical person? How do we know when to rely on our gut feelings or critical thinking? With the following steps, we can answer these questions and become well-balanced people, making our emotional side work hand in hand with the critical side. Developing self-awareness is the first step. Knowing our emotional triggers and how they may affect our thinking gives us the power to actively use our critical thinking abilities when necessary. You might want to get a journal to write out what triggers your emotional state. And while writing, be sure to observe if there is a pattern. Also try to figure out what the underlying cause might be. This information will make you better aware of the stimuli that trigger you and better prepare you to handle them the next time. Take a breather when faced with an emotional charged situation. Consciously take a moment to pause before responding. This pause provides you with the time needed to critically think and consider the situation more objectively. Empathy. While emotional reactivity can obstruct rational thought, empathy, which is the capacity to comprehend and share another person's feelings, can enhance it. Empathy encourages a more thorough analysis of other situations and emotional states, teaching you to better understand your own, which leads to better informed decisions. Seeking diverse perspectives. Actively look for various points of view and ideas. This routine enables you to better analyze difficult problems and combats your innate propensity to respond. A diverse perspective might be as simple as music from another genre, food from another culture, or learning a new language. These little things will better equip you to solve difficult problems. Practice mindfulness. Mindfulness techniques can help manage emotional reactivity. By staying present and observing your thoughts and feelings without immediate judgment, you can reduce impulsive reactions and make room for critical thinking. Sometimes you can't help but react to your emotions, and that's okay. Be kind to yourself. Practice mindfulness and meditation to develop better emotional awareness and control. This will help you maintain composure and think more clearly. Urgent versus important. Understanding urgency and the time required to make a decision can help maintain a level head. It's best to reserve impulsive responses for situations that require immediate action, such as emergencies. For matters that have long-term consequences or complexity, lean towards systematic problem solving. Decision-making frameworks. Try to utilize decision-making frameworks or processes that encourage systematic evaluation, such as listing pros and cons or conducting a cost-benefit analysis. These frameworks guide your thinking and reduce the influence of emotional reactivity. Decision hierarchy. Establish a hierarchy of decisions that require systematic problem solving and those that can be handled more impulsively. This provides a framework for consistent decision making. Fact checking. When assessing information, Verify its accuracy from multiple reliable sources before drawing conclusions. This reduces the risk of being swayed by biased or inaccurate information. The comparison between logical and emotional approaches highlights the benefits of cultivating rational thinking in various aspects of life. While emotions undoubtedly play a role in human experience, the traits exhibited by logical thinkers, such as critical thinking, evidence-based reasoning, and effective communications, equip them to navigate challenges with clarity and coherence. Striking a balance between emotion and reason is the key, as it allows individuals to make informed decisions while acknowledging their feelings. By understanding the distinctions between these approaches, we can aspire to integrate logical thinking into our decision-making process, leading to more informed and balanced choices. We'll be diving deeper into this topic in future videos, but thank you so much for tuning in today. And if you're here to unlock your mind, embrace abundance, master your money, and elevate your life, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Until next time, peace.